guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to be doing another little gadget or product review. It's a product that I use in the shop and I really love. It's these things right here, and that would be Veritas setup blocks. They come in a main set and then two supplement sets. So I'm just going to show you a little bit about these blocks, and you can judge it for yourself as to whether or not you want to get yourself a set. So the master set of the setup blocks comes in this plastic protective case, and they have milled aluminum blocks in thicknesses from 1/16 up to 3/4 of an inch, with the main steel block here milled out to be 1 inch, 2 inches, and then 3 inches long. And they have multiple uses throughout the shop, and I'll show you some of those throughout this video. The supplement set of these, this is actually two supplement sets, and they are in 32nds of an inch increments and 1/16 of an inch. But the 1/16 also includes 5/8, 3/8, down here at 3/16, and it goes right up to 23 32nds. Now, I don't know how precise you want to get with your setup blocks, but if you're into model building or any such nature of a project, these little items are great. And again, I'll show you some uses. One of the uses that I like to use these setup bars for is in a model build. In this particular instant, I needed this section here to be glued on with a 3/16 of an inch gap between these two sections. So in order to do that, I just got myself my 3/16 setup block, laid it on the lower section, glued this one in place and clamped it, and then once the glue was dry, I just removed the setup block, and then I knew I had a 3/16 of an inch gap all the way along. Another use, of course, knowing that these are half decently milled, we have a 5/16 of an inch setup block here. Well, when using digital calipers, your batteries can get weak and give you false readings. So it never hurts once in a while just to slap one of those blocks in there and ensure that you're still getting accurate readings with your digital calipers. And you can see here that it sure enough is 5/16 right on the money. Setting the fence on your table saw to some obscure measurement as, say, 1 15 32nds is as simple as getting your 1-inch block, laying it on its side so that the 1 inch is exposed, getting the 15 32nd block, sliding it over until it just touches the blade, and then locking down your fence. And then you know the gap here is 1 15 32nds. Depending on if you want it to be bigger or smaller, you can just do the math and add blocks as you go to get the proper dimensions that you want. There are times when using the table saw when you want the blade height to be at a specific height, and it can be a bit cumbersome trying to measure it. So what I like to do is, if I were to want this blade at 7/16 of an inch, I would get my 7/16 setup block, lay it beside the blade, and then take another block and lay it on top. I can then raise the blade until it now just barely touches on my setup block, and now I know I have that blade set for 7/16 of an inch height. So in the same way that we set the height of the table saw blade, you could set your router bits for the same thing, where you would place your setup block on your router table and lay another one on top to give you that overlap. And then of course you would just raise or lower your router bit until it touches the underside of that overlapping block. Then you would know that your router bit would be at the same height of whatever this lower block was, in this case 5/8 of an inch. When doing model builds, or any build in the shop for that matter, you usually end up with a pile of scraps or offcuts, and sometimes you need to rifle through that pile and find a certain thickness of stock for what you're doing. This is where one of these setup blocks can come in handy, in that if you know in this case you need a 1/4 inch thick piece of board, you could easily test to see that you've got a 1/4 inch thick piece. So here I would know right off the bat this here is a 1/4 inch thick, and this would be suitable for whatever piece I was making. It's not so important in a 1/4 inch piece, but when you start getting into things like 5/16, that's where the setup blocks would help, because that 1/16 difference between 1/4 and 5/16 is very easy to mistake when you're just simply looking. And yeah, I know you could use a tape measure, but I like my gadgets. Well, in case you're wondering of the accuracy of these setup bars, I have my digital calipers here, and these particular ones go in increments of 1/128th of an inch. So I'll just pick a random bar. This one is 5/16, and I'll clamp my digital calipers on it, and you can see there that it's 5/16. And let's just try another one here. What's this one? 15/32, and again I'll clamp it on, and we're at 15/32. One more just to sort of make the point. Let's just get a small one here. 1/32, and we'll clamp it in there, and you can see that we're at 1/32. These things are pretty accurate, and they're a great little setup tool. And there you have it, the Veritas setup blocks. I have the full set. I really like them. I use them for a lot of things. I've basically just shown you the simple uses for these. Distance of fence to the blade, height of router bits, height of table saw, checking your calipers, you know, that sort of thing. Even just quick references for stock thicknesses, quick references for measurements, and helping out in glue ups. Now, I'm sure you could think of other uses. You could make your own. Are these a shop necessity? No, not really. But if you put them on your Christmas list or birthday wish list, and you should get yourself a set, don't discount their value in your shop. I'm sure that you'll find a ton more uses for them. I use them every day when I'm out here, and who knows, get yourself a set and maybe you will too. Guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you again next week with some more woodworking videos. Until then, take care.